Thanksgiving has come and passed, and as much as there are chestnuts roasting on an open fire, there are chest curls waiting in an empty gym. Daily affirmations from Ty Paton. Now let's go ahead and address the elephant in the room. This is unfortunately the last episode of Combine for the 2023 year. I know, it's one of the saddest days in American history, but you may want to hold on to that Kleenex box because at the end of our show today, we'll be saying goodbye to our wonderful, incredible, should-be Golden Globe winning producer Camden Mowery. But before that, we're diving headfirst into some of the sports that you may have never heard of. And following that, we'll be giving some NBA hot takes that might leave you questioning your life decisions. So don't go anywhere because the finale of the Combine on HTFN starts right on the other side of this break.
Things gon' change when I really hit the field. Undefeated chance, man, you know what's the deal. Tryna find a kid, I'm in the field doing drills. Boy, you just a sucker, you ain't never keep it real. 3 rings in my hand, I'm a warrior to the max. When I hang it up, they gon' have to give me plaques. Step up in the building and I only bring the facts. When I make a highlight, they gon' replay, run it back. Okay, always locked in, now I don't got time to lax. Saying he the best, he could take a lap. Batted 1,000 when you check the stats. Boy, is you ready? You ain't gotta ask.
Welcome back to HTFN 8, The Ocho, the show where we take a deep dive into some of the unsung heroes of professional sports. There's also some weird sports that aren't getting covered today, so here's a compilation for you. We have everything from a little bit of ostrich racing going on up here, and then we're going to follow it with some extreme Barbie violent Jeep racing. And then right after that, we're going to have some awesome bed racing in Columbus, Ohio. And lastly, we have some cheese rolling in the UK, which I think it's awesome. And ladies and gents, I want to say how you doing, but we got to keep it moving because we have a lot to talk about today. And I'm here to tell you about one of the only sports on the market that combines and marries brain and brawn, and that is chess
League of Legends.
boxing. Chess boxing. As the name suggests, this sport is an alternating series of rapid chess matches and boxing rounds in which any fighter can typically secure a win via checkmate, knockout, or split decision. Fight can go up to 11 rounds and begins with a 4-minute chess match followed by 90 seconds trading punches. When I tell you there's no higher price I wouldn't pay to go see one of these matches in person, I'm being dead serious. Today, we're going to be focused on one fight that occurred just last Christmas featuring the 2 highest ELO-rated chess players in the sport to date. For those who don't know what ELO means, it's defined as a measure of a player's estimated chess level based on past performances. Put this fight into context, the current chess grandmaster, the best chess player in the world, has a ELO of 2830, and our 2 fighters, Amon Hambleton and Lawrence Trent, at the time, held ELOs of 2509 and 2402, respectively. So these guys are like crazy good at chess.
I have a 2820, yeah.
You had a 2820? Wow, what a genius, Matty Glass. You're a liar, fibber. I don't want to hear it. But the fight in question saw Hambleton defeat Trent by TKO in the second round of the fight, and the card itself had a total of 9 fights, which, if you saw on the graphic, 3 of which ended in checkmates, 4 in TKOs, and 2 in time advantages. I wanted to highlight just how arbitrary those fights can be and how many different ways they can end. Because I think there's a lot of, like, you can't gamble on this sport, dude. You're not making any money with these. But it's an absolute electric factory. And as you saw from that highlight, there's a full packed house in this place, and I can't even imagine how electric this crowd gets. And if you didn't catch it on the graphic, there were 558,000 live viewers watching on YouTube. It's bananas. But although chess boxing is an incredible sport, we're trading a ring for an obstacle course as Giovanni is covering World Chase Tag, which peaked a few years back. And Giovanni, the floor is yours, buddy.
All right, guys, we've all played tag before, right?
Yeah.
Okay, now imagine you get to play competitive tag for cash prizes and for pride and for just being the best in the nation. I'm here to talk about World Chase Tag, which is it's the greatest creation ever since chess boxing. I'm just saying right now. I'm also here to talk about the greatest player on the greatest team. I'm here to talk about Rob Schill playing for Apex Moon. If you see his stats, he's 7 for 8 for tags, 10 for 15 on evasions. He has a 67% evade, and he's a 2-time back-to-back champion while also being a 4-time champion. That's more
Well,
rings
that
than
would
D
make
Wade.
sense.
That's more rings than every Magic player there is, Maddie. Isn't that crazy?
My Magic players are 19, so.
Okay, but I just want to say, watching like Rob Shill's highlights, he's so good at evading his defenders, and even I watched 2 of them even fly out of bounds trying to tag him. I don't know, and it left the whole crowd in dismay. It left me shocked. And do you guys think you could compete in this league? Because these are real athletes. And
He's breaking ankles.
He is breaking
He's
ankles.
crazy. I feel like Jared could take him though.
Yeah, I mean, they kind of do call me like the LaShawn McCoy of, what's it called?
World
Ultimate
Chase
Tag. World Chase Tag. Yeah.
I
so-
prefer freeze tag.
You know, I'm pretty sure that if I'm the one tagging, I'm never catching him. But if I'm getting tagged, I could probably sweet talk him out of doing it.
And that's what makes like he has a 7 for 8 tag percentage.
that's so tough.
he like they don't get
That is
away from
tough.
him.
But you guys do, like, you see all the obstacles, like, in the,
Yeah.
bro, he's the greatest I've ever seen. The greatest athlete I've ever seen. So
Greatest athlete you've
Yes,
ever seen.
yes, this takes real skill.
Wait, I have a question. What football player would be the best at this tag game?
Tyreek?
Gotta be like a yeah.
Oh,
Tyreek,
Tyreek would be
yeah,
really
Tyreek.
good.
Yeah.
Tyreek would be really good. What about John Ross with that 419 40 time he had or something
He
crazy?
would get injured in the first 5 minutes.
That's
of
so
playing,
fair. That's so fair.
I feel like Michael Parsons would be. I know he's big.
Oh
but
my
like,
God.
like, imagine, like, I'd be
He's
scared if
bad.
Michael
Imagine-
Parsons is like trying to
Imagine
tag
you're just
me.
hauling tail, trying to like get through this obstacle
Yeah.
course, and you see like Micah Parsons dive head first. Like,
And they dive too, to the point where they're falling out of bounds. So
Do they have,
Oh
like,
my
trampolines?
God.
no, I don't think there's any.
that'd be so
Slows
No,
him
no,
down.
no.
That slows him down.
Oh,
Okay,
so they
okay,
can, like, do
okay.
some
But World Chase Tag is awesome. It did peak a little bit ago. I did see it was all over my YouTube feed for a little bit.
Yep.
But we are jumping into a sport that has been very prominent in the retired community, but has recently popped off
Yeah.
with younger
We're diving
people.
into like an actual sport now.
We're talking pickleball.
Okay.
In pickleball, my grandparents love it, but now it's really taken off. We have a Major League Pickleball League, also known as the MLP. And it's a perfect time to get into pickleball because the popularity has obviously soared, but also the Major League Pickleball playoffs are coming up, and we are going to be crowning 2 Premier and Challenger level champions. And it'll be between 4 teams, and our hometown Orlando Squeeze are in the finals.
I did know that.
So Orlando sports teams are having a moment, as we both know,
Hey.
and you know. So I think we can continue our winning ways, and they can win the championship. So speaking of the Orlando Squeeze, they have a 25.21 team DUPR rating, which is the Dynamic Universal Pickleball rating. And it's a 4-player team, so it's a pair of 2 doubles, so men's and women's pickleball players are all on the same team though. And usually the women's goes first and then, or the men's goes first and the women's, and then it's like a tiebreaker something. So we have Anna Bright and Rachel, and then Andre and Zane. They all play together. Anna Bright played tennis at UC Berkeley, and she has a 6.02 doubles DUPR rating. I don't really know what that means, but it's really good.
Sounds
And all the
impressive.
games are going to be broadcast on ESPN too. And oh, by the way, this is all taking place in Margaritaville. So it's the
Really?
perfect location.
That's so awesome.
My grandma will definitely be there.
You'll be
but-
there too, right?
Yes.
Okay.
And the Orlando
Jersey and
Squeeze, the
everything.
Orlando Squeeze are actually owned by the same people as the Magic, so we have to root for them. And they have a very cool logo. It's like a little orange with a pickleball racket. And you know, the pickleball players, they like tennis is something, but like pickleball is crazy. It moves a little slower though.
I have a question for you.
Okay.
So after watching the highlights,
Yeah.
would you rather take the men's pick? I mean, I know they're both in the same team, but would you take the double for the men's or the double for the women's?
Well, our men's does have a higher DUPR rating.
Okay.
So, like, objectively, they're better against their competition right now. But I think I was reading, and they said Anna and Rachel are, like, super tenacious and, like, are pulling upsets all over the place. So maybe you take the young ones.
You know,
go.
I love playing pickleball. Like, I actually
Really?
have fun
I've
with
actually
it.
never played it.
It's so much fun to play. I don't think it's too great to watch. I
No,
don't think
it
you're gonna
was
have
a
too
little
much fun to
slower
watch.
than I expected. I was expecting
Yeah.
more of, like, a tennis feel. It definitely wasn't
But
that.
no disrespect to pickleball, but I used to think it was how
But
many
full
pickles you could eat in
disrespect
5
to
minutes.
pickleball.
Moving on, though, our friendly neighborhood Steelers man is here to provide us a little insight
right.
into the League of Legends World Championships. Jared, what you got for us?
That's right. And today we're talking about the GOAT. I'm not talking Michael Jordan. I'm not talking LeBron James. I'm not talking Tom Brady. I'm not talking Tiger Woods. I'm talking Faker, baby. That's right. If you're paying attention to League of Legends in the past 10 years, you know who Faker is. Because Faker is the absolute GOAT. This guy has the most world championship titles out of any League of Legends player of all time with 4. Of course, he just got one last week. Sorry, spoiler alert if you haven't seen it. But people sleep on League of Legends, especially Worlds, because they just had 12 million people play League of Legends daily. And then the World's Finals had 6.5 million live viewers. And it started at 3 a.m. Eastern time. So if you think I stayed up till 3 a.m. to watch it, you're absolutely wrong, because I'm not watching League of Legends from 3 a.m. to 6 a.m. because I have a life. But I did watch the highlights.
What's League
This
of
guy.
Legends?
What's that
What's
supposed to
League of
mean?
Legends?
Yeah.
Maddie, what's League of Legends?
What's League of Legends?
What's
I
that
mean,
supposed
I like
to mean?
Giovanni to
It's
explain
only
it.
have a
Let
life.
Jared talk.
It's only,
You
it's
just
only
called him
the
the
most
greatest athlete of all time. You're saying people who watch this stuff don't have a life. What are we talking about here?
It's only the most competitive team esport
You know what?
of all time. And no, I watched it, but I watched the recap afterwards.
Yeah.
I still watch all of
You
finals.
cut out the
That's
commercials.
I cut
Hey,
out the commercials.
Very, very, very fair. But
Red zone.
everyone watching at home, I hope you have enjoyed the Island of Misfit toys we have brought to you today. But I want to thank everyone here for joining me on this last show. And y'all watching, better make that bathroom break quick, because we're coming back right after this.
Jack, buddy, why are you here?
I don't really understand why I'm here. I got called a delusional fan. I just don't understand why I'm delusional if I think Kirk Cousins had the best mustache in the league.
Well, Jack, buddy, I don't want to be the one to tell you this, but I don't think anybody looks cool in handlebars.
But they're back, man. They're back.
They're not. They're not. Sometimes you just got to face the hard truth. It's right there in front of you. All these people, they're calling you delusional, but sometimes you got to worry about, am I projecting? Is it me? And in this
Let me
case,
tell you something, bud. It could never be me. Anything I say is factual and truth, and that's why the Vikings are going 16-1 this year.
organization, you have to look at your roster and say, I've had Kirk O'Duggins for 6 years. Maybe it's time to move on.
There is no moving on from Kirk Thuggins and Justin Jefferson.
Do you think that maybe this all started just because of a little disappointment?
Nothing has started. This is how I live, and I am not delusional. I'm a prophet.
Welcome back to the Combine, and we have Jared Fox returning, but on that couch next to him is the big, the bad, literal Ray Lewis on the intramural football fields, Dario Aria. Gentlemen, how are we feeling about talking some NBA today?
We're ready. I'm ready to talk about some Jordan Poole, some Holiday,
Well,
Confident.
let's just dive right into it. So we were given a list of charts to choose from, each indicating a different concept with which we'll be giving a certain NBA player. We've all chosen a chart, and we'll be debating why the player we chose fits that. So essentially, we're taking a name tag, writing down, our 4 options, which is going to be exciting, but we're going to slap it right on the forehead of some NBA players. And I'm going to jump right into it with, actually, before we do that, we have to give a little disclaimer. We are trained professionals giving hot takes here. Do not try this at home for any of the kids out there, So these name badges kick off with a player that is currently, quote unquote, untouchable in the league, and I have wound back and smacked this stamp on Drew Holiday. Holiday was drafted in 2009 to the Philadelphia 76ers, and when he was drafted, he was taken specifically to be a force on the defense, and that he was. But he's been very consistent in his defensive play, posting roughly 4 rebounds and 1.5 steals per game throughout his entire career. His play has cemented him as one of the league's top defensemen, but he has still fallen under scrutiny for the offensive side of his play. With his time in Philly, you can argue for it as he put up 13.3 points and 4.9 assists per game. But looking at his more recent stats, you see a drastic increase in production. Because in his 3 years with Milwaukee, Holiday recorded 18.4 points and 6.8 rebounds per game. And these numbers were all posted while Drew was on the same side of the court as the Greek Freak, who was averaging 29.7 points per game. You know, I think the name of Holiday's game is consistency, you know, and I think that's why he is untouchable. But with all the defensive stats that he is kept pretty consistent through his career, he started to accrue more and more offensive accolades so far, and he just happened to win another All-Star just a few years back. Yeah. But he's been awesome. With Boston, I think it's a little weird. He's got Tatum there he's got to compete with. I know Tatum's not Greek Freak, but it's a great lineup over there in Boston. So we're seeing a little diminished return on investment, I guess.
Right.
But I still really like this guy. I still think he's the untouchable player in the league right now. But we're going to be moving on to the fall-off player with Mr. Jared. And what do you got?
Let's dive right into the Jordan Poole. I mean, this guy stinks. All I got to say is Draymond Green, if you were ever right about something, it's Jordan Poole, because this guy is just absolutely terrible. I mean, he went from being a Sixth Man of the Year nominee when he was on the Warriors. And, I mean, he was looking not, you know, like an elite level player, but he looked like he could be the next star in the league. And now he's the head of his team on the goofiest team I've ever seen in the NBA. The Washington Wizards are an absolute joke, an absolute clown show, and the ringleader is Jordan Poole. So, I mean, the guy has the worst plus-minus in the entire league right now at minus, I think it was 206 or something, and that's the worst in the league. The second worst is Jeremy Sohan, and the third is his teammate, Kyle Kuzma. Oh, really? So, yeah. And then actually fourth is also his teammate, Tyus Jones. Oh, wow. So, yeah, the Wizards are just an absolute clown show, and it's all because of Jordan Poole. Like, pull up the highlights. I mean, it is just absolutely terrible. It's almost unreal what he's doing. He's playing like he's playing for the Harlem Globetrotters. And it's like, dude, you're in the NBA. You need to actually, like, get assists, get rebounds, make shots. Like, you're not just playing just for the crowd's pleasure. Like, you have to actually score and succeed in the NBA if you want to be successful.
So I think everyone can agree that Poole thinks of himself as the star talent, you know?
Yeah.
Like that's what his play is. It's quite egotistical, if anything.
Yeah.
But the Wizards traded for him in order to get that pillar that they could start to build around. I know that's not working now, but they're still in rebuild. So do we think there's any chance that he can be that pillar for them? No?
He's just too goofy. He's just so unserious that they need to just cut ties with him, like, as soon as they can. Now, I know, like, they just signed him, so give him a little more time, but, like, I mean, you're the worst team in the NBA at this point. Like, what do you have to lose? I know you want to build around him. You want to build around Kyle Kuzma, who's also getting up there in age, so he's not really a player to build around. But, yeah, I don't know what the Wizards are doing. They kind of just have to build around Bilal because he is their best player, and he's actually, like, a serious hooper. So we'll see what happens with the Wizards.
Yeah, and you know, I feel the same way about Jordan Poole. I don't think this guy's too hot. I do think he's falling off.
Yeah.
But Mr. Dario holds the golden ticket right here because wrong hot take for an overrated player could spell disaster in here. So what do you got for us?
For the overrated player, I got Jordan Poole.
No, you don't.
I'm just kidding. I'm talking about Kawhi Leonard. Yeah, Kawhi Leonard, the star on the Clippers. For me, he just hasn't lived up to the hype that he had when he came into the Clippers in 2019.
Yeah.
He hasn't been healthy. People had expectation for him to be like MVP, caliber player, to get championships. He hasn't even get to the conference finals.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, he was great with Toronto back in the day. He was very, very good with Toronto back in the day.
Yeah.
For 1 year, money in the grave,
the
baby.
1 year rental.
Money in the grave.
They got there.
We do know the drill of money in the grave. But, Mr. Dario, do you think there's any chance that with Kawhi on the Clippers that they can go to the finals? Is there any chance?
I mean, you could say so, but you have to be a miracle, you know, because you've been watching the Clippers. They lost like 6 games in a row.
Yeah.
they just haven't figured out, with Harden, Westbrook, Paul George, Kawhi, they have one of the greatest teams in paper in
Yeah.
NBA history. But, I don't think they fit together. I think Kawhi is not doing a great job as the main star,
Yeah.
I actually disagree. I'm not gonna lie.
You think you could take it? You think you take him?
I think if they can make it to the play-in or playoffs, like if they make it past the play-in, make it to the playoffs, I think that they're gonna be like a serious threat. Like I'm dead serious. I think Russell Westbrook is just insane in the playoffs. I think he's like we saw him last year against the Suns, and it was just him there. There was no Paul George, there was no Kawhi Leonard, and the guy was playing his butt off.
Yeah.
Like absolutely locking down Devin Booker. And now I know the Harden acquisition, that's the thing that's tough because
Yeah.
I just don't see how he fits in with that team because there's just so many mouths to feed. So, like, I know it's kind of different, but like the San Francisco 49ers, they make it work with
Yeah.
all the studs and they feed everybody. Everybody's happy, but it's going to be interesting to see. And I think Kawhi kind of needs to take more of a back seat. Like
Maybe, yeah.
I think he
Yeah.
is overrated now, and he kind of needs to just play better defense and more focus on that side of the
Yeah,
ball.
just like kind of easy shots,
Yeah.
cutting.
Yeah.
It's also true that teams in the playoff, it's like playoff are a whole different thing.
Exactly.
Like the Lakers play like a lot better in the playoffs because it's slower pace of the game. You have more control of the ball.
Exactly.
So they might be good in the playoffs. Yeah.
Yeah, and real quick, we did have a fourth graph on there
Yeah.
that was not mentioned, and I do have a player for it, so I want to bring it up, and I want to ask you if you would agree or disagree with this.
Okay.
So our fourth graph here was all eyes on me. And it's essentially the player that, like it says, all eyes are on them. They have the spotlight right now. And I picked Damian Lillard for this. Because
Okay.
Dame goes to Milwaukee, and obviously, just like we mentioned with Drew Holiday a few minutes ago, when you're playing with the Greek Freak, you're going to see diminished results on offense. Like, he's too big of a force. He's going to pull away. He's going to take some of your reps, some of your buckets, whatever you want to say. He's going to take some of it. But I just think Lillard's production is only down for that reason, but I still think he could be a huge player. And I just want to ask real quick, do you think that's the case or not?
So I saw a stat the other day, or when they first traded for Dame, like him and Giannis, like last year, I think were like the top two for points per game.
Yeah.
So like adding those two together, one of them is going to go down. At least one of them is going to go down, possibly both. So that's why Dame has gone down, is just because he's literally with the guy that led the league in points per game now.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
okay.
yeah, apologize. But unfortunately, that is all the time we have to talk NBA. And gentlemen, I'd like to thank you for joining me today. And y'all at home, you might want to sit down for this next segment because it's going to be a tearjerker.
Hello there, everybody. My name is Dominic Mullen. Welcome to Hitting the Field Network. Our first show that you're going to see on YouTube is Hitting the Field Main Show, hosted by yours truly on Mondays at noon, where you'll see me with a fresh fade and fresh news. I'll also be talking a little bit of the hottest topics in sports, and we are going to be arguing mainly on there. On Tuesdays at noon, you'll see Isaiah De Anda Delgado and Ty Paton on the Combine. Just more of a podcast, laid-back style of a show. And if you're looking for the most creative segment ideas, head on over there on Tuesday. On our off day, don't forget to check out the studio vlogs on Wednesdays. Andrew Montano does a great job of giving a little bit of the behind-the-scenes look into Hitting the Field. Moving to Thursdays, speaking of Andrew Montana, him, Philip Powell, and Ezra Hines lead the way on HTF Bets. The Bets boys always come dressed to impress, and if you're looking to win some money and catch up on the latest betting lines, that's the show for you. On Fridays, you're gonna head over and see Matty Glass and the always wrong Tyler Brownrigg on Nighttime to break down everything about college sports. If you go to UCF or are interested in UCF sports, this is the best place for you. Sorry, Tyler. Our newest show here at Hitting the Field on Saturdays is Girl Talk, hosted by Kirsten Blaylock and Lexi Zolo. The all-female hosted show tackles breaking news all across the sports world, and as well, reliving the history and current state of your favorite team. Check that show out Saturdays at noon. Again, I am your main show host, Dominic Moeller, and if you're enjoying this content, don't be afraid to subscribe to our Hitting the Field YouTube and check out our Instagram. But for now, that's all. I'll see you on main show. Take care.
Welcome back to the Combine. We're here to say goodbye and congratulations to a colleague, a producer, but most importantly, a fantastic friend to have. This is a guy that can just light up a room just by being in it. and a guy who always knows the right way to make you laugh whenever you need it. And he's one of the first people that I personally felt like I had a connection with when I got to HTF, when it was a swamp full of people where I didn't know anybody. Tough situation to immerse yourself. Camden was one of the first actual people I connected with, which was awesome. And so, without further ado, we have the one, the only executive producer of HTFN and Ohio State enthusiast, Camden Shannon Mowery, baby. Camden, it is time to do a bit of soul searching and reminiscing, my friend, so the floor is yours.
Floor's mine? Man, I was trying to figure out who you were talking about of that. I'm like, dang, I'm so proud that you think of me in that high of a light, Ty, because you've made me really proud this semester. So excited to see what you go on and continue with next semester. But yeah, this is the end of my tenure. I guess this is the last week. I guess it's gonna be like LeBron's last year, whenever that is. He's gonna get like everywhere he goes. Everyone's gonna be like, thanks, here's a baseball bat, now get out of here. So I guess that's kind of, we're doing like the victory tour or whatever, like the one last year.
Yeah,
so Vince Carter, you know, going out that way.
Well, I will say I am honored that you decided to come on Combine, even though you're coming on all the other shows this week, to say goodbye. And I know you're going to do great things out there, just by watching you and seeing you work in the studio. And I just want to thank you for all that you've done. You know, and it has been a phenomenal pleasure to work with you.
Yeah, likewise with you. I mean, I wish you would have joined earlier. I don't remember who. There was an outside person that got you into this program, if I remember. Who was it?
Yeah, it was my buddy Trev.
Your buddy?
Trevor Locke. Shout out Trevor Locke.
Whoever Trevor Locke is that got this beautiful, handsome man to come onto this show and come onto this program. I mean,
oh my God.
I'm so thankful for you, Ty, because you took this show, and we were kind of like, last semester it was like, hey, you and Isaiah, you go out there, and then unfortunately, Isaiah had the scheduling conflicts, and so you absolutely have thrived as the solo host of the show, and I love to see what you're going to do here.
I appreciate you, buddy. And I don't know if do we have a video here?
I have a video here. Do you want to do it now?
I think we're about to do it now. I think you're going to go ahead and hit play on that video. We're going to run it for everyone.
You want to watch it?
Watching on. Oh yeah, if you want to put it there, I'll watch it. But
yeah.
Go ahead and start that puppy. Viewers at home, you'll see what we're seeing right now.
All right.
Camden, hey, Hannah Jo here. It is so crazy. I feel like you should have at least 3 more years in this program, and everybody probably wishes that you did, me included. But it's done. It's about to be over, and that's okay, because what you did while you were here was huge and important and amazing, and I think that you were brought to us at just the right time. And I know that it's been hard. It's had its ups and downs to be the commander-in-chief, but I really do think that you've done an amazing job, and I'm proud of you. And I think that you've grown a lot as a person in being decisive and authoritative, but also compassionate, empathetic, and kind. And I think you're smart and capable of anything that you put your mind to. And I'm here for you always, and I'm very proud of you. And please take it all in while you can, but you're going to have a great future ahead of you.
Camden, congratulations on graduating. It has been so incredible to see everything that you've done for the program. I knew I left it in good hands, and seeing this year has just made me even more confident in that fact. Your career at UCF and in HTF has been so amazing, and I am just so proud of everything that you've been able to do. And I cannot wait to see what the future holds. I could not think of anyone who I would rather have taken the program up after my graduation, and I'm so proud of everything you've been able to do and everything that we were able to do together. I mean, we said we wanted to get athletes in there, we got them. We said we wanted to get to make 5 shows in the studio happen, we did it. And even you said you wanted to add more shows in the studio lineup, like to not do more Zoom shows. You add another show in studio lineup every single week, and it is incredible. Thank you for always giving a voice to women in our program and for giving a voice to everyone who needs it at UCF and in hitting the field. Camden Mowery, I love you, buddy, and I'm so proud to see what you do in the future.
Here you go.
Camden, man, I just wanted to say you did it, bro. You're graduating. I can't believe it. Feels like you're still a child. But I'm so proud of everything you've done for HTF, how you've grown it. You left it better than you found it, and that's all we can ask. I'm proud of you. Keep going. Can't wait to see what you do in the future. All right, peace, man.
Wow. Let me start with Hannah Jo, because Hannah Jo, I think one of my biggest regrets here is not going on more of Hannah Jo's shows. I mean, she was main show host for a whole year, and I think I might have went on one time. I wish I would have been able to go on air with her more than just those couple times, because she was absolutely fantastic. Even when she was Girls on Deck host, I wish I was able to go onto that show more. As for Johnny Jackson, yeah, Johnny pretty much said it himself, you know. I guess Alex said it, leave the program in better hands than I found it, and that's all you can really ask for. And while Luke is behind the camera crying or fake crying, it's not coming for me, buddy. You're not going to get me to cry. Johnny, absolutely, you know, I wouldn't have been in this program if it wasn't for Johnny. And I remember it was like my first week at UCF. I was in Pittsburgh on a vacation, and Johnny sent me an email that was like, you're interested in sports, want to join this silly club? And I was like, yeah, sure. And here we are 2.5 years later. So, and I know Alex said it, still feel like a kid. You know, I know a lot of you guys in here might be a little older than me, but it's crazy that this time's almost over, Ty Paton.
Yeah, no, right? Yeah, you still got 3 different shows to go on this week, so your time's not over just yet. You know, savor it while it lasts, baby.
Oh, I know.
You know, that food runs out quick.
I know.
You know, Joe, but I wanted to ask you, just top of your head, what do you have a favorite memory at HCF?
That is such a tough question. There's one, Nitro came in here and surprised us on a show. That was really cool. Pieing Emily Aaron in the face was kind of fun doing for primetime picks. Draft show is always the most stressful thing when Luca and I ran around and floor directed the first year. That was a really fun show. But that's just on air. You know, there's so many moments outside of studio too that I was able to make with you guys. Brunson's class with you.
Yep.
Or
which we have tonight.
Playing basketball with Giovanni and Dario and Luca once and Ezra and, you know, stuff like that. So, I mean, just all those memories, couldn't have asked for a better time here.
You know, honestly, I couldn't have said it better myself. It was my senior goodbye, you know. But you really, I don't want to. I'm saving my curse word. I'm not going to use it just yet. But
use it now.
No, I'm not using it now. I have a whole plan. But like, you really kick poop, you know, over your last couple of years. You know, like just. Oh, I know what I was going to say. I literally, okay, this is a weird context, but I was taking a shower this morning, and I was like, I know what I'm going to say to Camden. I was going to say, when I had first got here, you know, and I had first met you, when I told you that you helped me mesh with everybody, you know, you're one of the first connections that I had made. Like, when I had met you, I'm not going to talk down and say, like, I didn't think you were, like, a cool guy or anything, because I really did think you were, like, an awesome guy. But, like, I always saw you as, like, the really compassionate, really passionate person. And then I got to see sort of your producer authoritative side this year, you know, that came out. But you were able to handle it so well and marry that with that compassion that you have. And it's such a good skill. Like, just to watch that develop in you has been so awesome. Like it really, really is amazing to see. Like I can't wait to see what you do after this. You know?
I love you, Ty Paton.
I love you too,
I
Camden
love you,
Mowery.
Ty Paton.
Oh, I love Camden Mowery. We're going to kiss off camera, but I believe that this is all the time we have. And unfortunately for everybody, this is the last episode of Combine for the year. We will be back next semester, but this is the last one for this year. And to my producers, you know, probably did forget or think I forgot about using my curse word. I did not. No, I'm just kidding. I'm not actually going to use it. No, I am. The Bucks are shit. We're horrible. I'm so mad about this. What are we doing? Todd Bowles is terrible. Fire him immediately. Like, we're 4-7. We're horrible. I'm so upset about it. You know what? This has been season 3 of the Combine on HTFN. And don't go anywhere because we will be back in just a few short months.
Things gon' change when I really hit the field. Undefeated champs, man, you know what's the deal. Tryna find a kid, I'm in the field doing drills. Boy, you just a sucker, you ain't never keep it real. 3 rings in my hand, I'm a warrior to the max. When I hang it up, they gon' have to give me plaques. Step up in the building and I only bring the facts. When I make a highlight, they gon' replay, run it back. Okay, always locked in, I don't got time to lax. saying he the best, he could take a lap. Batted 1,000 when you check the stats. Boy, is you ready? You ain't gotta ask.